Now, the story is that you were working on or considering working on a story about the Grand Ole Opry, and it was that was the for the New Yorker, and it was that was the inspiration for what became a Prairie Home Companion. Is that a myth or is that true?
No, I was down there. The Opry was moving from its home down in the honky-tonk row of Nashville. They were down on Lower Broadway, and Tootsie's Orchid Lounge and all these nefarious bars where you're going to smoke whether you smoke or not, and they were going to move out to the suburbs, and that was interesting. And then even more interesting was the fact that President Richard Nixon, who was then only a few months away from resignation and who just wanted to be in front of a friendly crowd, came down for the first show in the suburbs and played My Wild Irish Rose at the piano and twirled a yo-yo.
I don't care whether that's true, I like it.
Irresistible for a writer, so I went down there and I stood off in the wings, and Dolly and Porter and Stonewall and Loretta and Roy Acuff and Cousin Minnie Pearl, they were all there, and they just were having such a fine time. And I thought to myself, you know, a person could do this. Mm-hmm. A person could. Yeah. And there's where I stepped off the precipice and and went down this long, slippery slope that I'm still sliding down. Yeah.
How difficult was it to, I mean, you mentioned the benefit that you enjoyed from the New Yorker relationship, but how difficult was it to get this started in the earliest days?
Not difficult at all. They mixed the show on a little five-channel mixing board with knobs, potentiometers, and they had big microphones the size of footballs, and we stood in front of them and, you know, played and sang. It was a dreadful show, but we had the benefit of a tiny audience. Yep. So that our mistakes were only spread out in front of very few people.
Yeah, I think they call this opening the play in New Haven. Right?
Good.
Is that
yes.
Right? Yes.
We opened the play in Haven Beach, Nebraska.
As it happens.
And so we had a good long time to develop that.
Work out the kinks.
Yeah, well, they haven't been worked out yet, but you know, you learn how to cover up your mistakes.
Right. The show really, and this was 1974 that the show began.
This is correct.
Correct. So at what point into the life of the program did you think, finally, I mean, in all seriousness, well, we've got something, even if it's not perfect, it's at least, I'm satisfied that we've figured out what we're doing here?
I'm still wondering.
Truly.
Truly. I was not brought up to be satisfied.
It's a good thing, actually.
I was brought up in the Christian faith, which is does not teach you to look back on your own deeds with satisfaction.
And so you're still waiting for that day to come, and it just won't come.
It's not going to come.
Not going to come.
No. No. The Christian faith is a difficult, troubling faith. It's not just the Good Shepherd. You know, it's not rays of sun coming through the clouds. There's a lot of really difficult, impossible stuff there.
Yeah.
And you read the Gospels, and it'll just scare you to death. Thank God I'm an Episcopalian, and we know how to ignore all that.
I just want to give you room to let you go as long as you want, so that's actually fine. The show has had two halves, right? So 74 to 87 was the first half of the program, and you took a break, came back with the show under a different name, and then came back fully, I believe, in 93, and renamed it Prairie Home Companion.
Right. We made this terrible mistake, you know, of retiring when the show was a big success in 87. Really a stupid thing to do.
But isn't that good? Retire on top.
No,
go out a winner.
No, you should go out in shame and disgrace. You should go. You should go out being fired, you know, for something, and preferably something low down and mean. So then it took me a long time to climb back, and then I came back and changed the name of the show. Why? 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 It was stupid. And we've been trying to recover ever since, and just trying to get a handle on doing it, you know? Mm-hmm. It takes you a long time to live down your youthful pretentiousness and just deliver to people what they want.
Is the show dramatically different? I mean, you know, a lot of people who are watching this program today are sitting here probably have some familiarity with the show going back a ways. I'm not sure they go back to 1974. So for their benefit and for mine, how different is the program today from what it was at its inception?
I don't remember the show, so I can't tell you. I have short-term memory loss with radio, and I forget all
Everything.
of it by Monday early afternoon at the latest.
Probably healthy.
Sometimes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you remembered what you had done on a show like that, you would die of discouragement.
Right.
And anybody who comes from the Midwest, you grow up with an inferiority complex, as big as your pancreas, and if you grow up in a small town, you will never ever lack for discouragement.
Right.
And then you've got the Christian faith on top of it.
Right, which we've covered, but I know, big issue. I realize that.
It's all you can do just to remain ambulatory.
Right. Can you say a word? Let me digress from the Prairie home for a second and go back to that growing up in a small town. What about
the word is persistence.
Is that what it is?
That's the word you're looking for.
I am looking for persistence.
Persistence.
That's the thing that made you be able to do this, the thing that you took from your childhood, from your small town childhood?
Yes. They brought you up to be persistent. My people were graduates of the big crash, and so they were people who did not trust men in suits. They didn't trust banks. They kept money stashed around the house in odd places and taped to the underside of drawers and so on. And they taught you to work hard and to keep on working and never take anything for granted. So the very quality that you rebelled against in your parents, their persistence, their doggedness, you wanted to be a romantic, you wanted to wear bell-bottom pants, you wanted to be swashbuckling, to wear an ascot, or whatever, and wear your hair long and have mood lighting and lava lamps and so forth. You rebelled against their persistence, but that was the quality that they baked into you that enabled you to do whatever you were going to do. You were under the illusion that it took talent, but it didn't. Talent is worth a nickel. What it took was persistence. And memory loss, and the ability to endure boredom.
Right.
The ability to endure days of boredom as you sit and write things that don't work out, and you throw them away and you keep on going. That's the important thing.